Hey guys, happy Friday. Happy almost fall break. Are you excited? I know I am. Um, Welcome to writing. Let me share my screen so you guys can see what we're getting into today. Okay, here we are on day 5. Think it through. Okay, so I think we are in between step 3 and step 4 right now. We have read our 2 source texts and gathered some evidence. But now we need to think it through and kind of organize our thoughts and our evidence. It says, show what you know and get ready to write. So by getting ready, of course, we need to think about our materials. Today, we're going to need our iReady writing books and a pencil. Our I can statements for today are I can identify details about characters, setting, and events, and I can describe what words and pictures reveal about characters, setting, and events. Okay, we're going to open up our books to page 48. Page 48, it will look like this. It will say, think it through. So remember, we read about an important event in Helen Keller's life. Today, we are going to begin to think about the narrative that we will write. Finding details from the 2 source texts we read will help us do this. So let's read our instructions on page 48. Number 1, fill in the charts using details from Seeing Differently and Helen Keller, A Picture Story. Characters. Name one character. Describe this character. Hint. What are her traits? What else do you know about her? Let's do the first one together. So I think the main character who we've been talking about is Helen Keller. So I'm going to write her name here, and you can write it in your book. Helen Keller. Describe this character. Okay, well, I remember from our source text that she is a young girl. She is blind and deaf, and she does not understand that letters form words. All right, so feel free to pause your video and take the time to write this down in your book. And when you're done, unpause your video to continue. All right. So hopefully you have written everything down. I have to clear my annotation so we can move on to the second box. It says, name another character. Well, who's the only other character we read about? What'd you say? Oh, that's right. It's Anne Sullivan. So let's write her name down. And it says, describe this character. Hint, what would you tell someone who has never heard of her? Well, I know that she is a woman. I know she is Helen's teacher. And I know she is patient because it must be really hard to work with somebody who's deaf and blind. She is patient and she works hard to teach Helen words. Okay, so again, feel free to pause the video, take time to finish copying this down, and come back when you're done and we'll move on. Our next box is the setting. Where did this story happen? Hint, where were they standing? What time of day was it? When did this story happen? I think I need to go back to our source text to remember. Okay, well here in the very first sentence, it says Helen Keller was born in Alabama in 1880. Okay, so Alabama and a long time ago. And where did the most of the story take place? I remember this water pump being a really big deal for Helen because that was the first time she understood that letters formed words. Okay, and even in this second text, they're at the water pump too. So I think for where did this story happen, I'm going to write Alabama. And they were outside at a water pump. When did this story happen? It happened a long time ago. And it looked like it was daytime. So I'm going to say in the afternoon. All right, so again, you can finish copying this down, pause the video if you need to, and then we'll move on. Our last box says events. Describe a problem the characters faced. What problem do you remember from our readings? Did you say Helen did not understand that letters formed words? That's the problem that I noticed from our story. And how was this problem solved? How did the problem get solved? If you need to pause the video to go look back in the text, feel free to do that. And then come back when you have an idea of how the problem was solved. I think the problem was solved when Anne splashed water on Helen's hand and made the letter signs for WATER in her other hand. Helen understood that the word was water. And I'll stretch that out so you can see it. Okay, so go ahead and pause your video, copy this down into your book. And when you are done, let's read over the details that we've written. Let's read over the details. So back on page 48, for characters, we talked about Helen Keller. We said she was young, she was blind and deaf. She didn't know that letters formed words. We talked about Anne Sullivan being a patient teacher who worked hard to help Helen. We talked about our setting on page 49, Alabama, outside at the water pump, long time ago in the afternoon. And the problem they faced was that Helen didn't understand that letters formed words, but the problem was solved by Anne Sullivan sticking with Helen and teaching her that with water at the water pump. Let's take a minute to think about which details will be the most important to use when we write our own narratives? What does each detail tell about the characters, the setting, and the events? Go back through and place a check mark with your pencil by the details that you think are the most important. And for your quick write today, I want you to answer this question. The most important details about Helen Keller are ... So you can get on Schoology and type your answer or write it down, take a picture and upload it to Schoology to tell us the most important details about Helen Keller. And that is all I have for you for writing today, guys. I hope you have a wonderful fall break, and I can't wait to see you back in a week. So bye, everybody. Have a great break.